Well, I'm moving on to the onion patches. It's going to be for garlic and leek, and there's some onions. You may recall a previous clip we planted some of the onion sets, and we left enough of a gap so that we could keep it weed free with a bit of hoeing. So that's working out nicely now. The onions have come up, and there's a nice bit of space in between the rows of onions, just to disturb the soil with the hoe sufficiently to prevent them from taking root, and that keeps that weed free. But the rest of the patch has been growing the leaf beet. There's still some, and I'll take a few more meals out of that before that's finished, but I'm going to clear some of it away, because I want to, now that we're in November, it is the time to be planting the garlic for next year, and that means clearing away about a quarter of the patch, because I want to leave the rest of it for the few leek plants that I'll be planting out in spring. But first of all, we clear the garlic patch. Well, there's the patch cleared. Looks fine. Soil structure looks good. Probably has been starved a little bit because of the leaf beet growing there, which is hungry enough. So I'm going to add a little bit of the fresh compost to this patch. Just dig it in and then plant the garlic. Well, these garlic cloves will be familiar to anybody, of course. They're exactly like the garlic cloves you buy in the shops. These have been bought in a garden centre, and that means that they have been grown to a standard which ensures that they are disease free from a plant health point of view. I'm not saying that the ones in the shops would be a problem if you planted them. You could plant the ones that you buy in the shops. The thing is, however, that they probably have come from somewhere far away. Many of them come from China, and the climate in China and the growing conditions would be different to what we have here, perhaps. So these are more likely, because they've been bought in the garden shop, to actually give the result we're looking for. So to actually plant them, we need to just break them off as if we were cooking some exotic lovely meal, but in this case we're just separating out the cloves as best we can. Having broken up the bulbs, we have something a little bit over 20 cloves there. So essentially I've positioned them on the path there so that I can have an idea about the spacing in this little patch that I have set aside for the garlic. So the 4 on this side I will put down in line with where the cane is there. Keeping the line I have with the onions so that I can continue to keep it weed free. I'm just spacing them around about 5 inches or 8 centimeters apart, but to be quite honest, my spacing is really more determined by the size of the patch I have, because I want to make use of the patch, obviously without over packing them in, but at the same time get a good yield from what is a relatively small space. Just a point to make here about the depth. It's recommended with the onion sets that you don't actually bury them, you leave a little bit showing. In the case of garlic, I read that you should bury them, so they're not going to be seen when we've planted them, so we just have to record where they are so we don't forget there's something planted there while it's coming up. But the one thing to remember also is that, a bit like the onion sets, well, they're the same family, so they are similar in lots of ways. There's a top and a bottom. The root is going to come out essentially where the bottom of the bulb is, and the top will be the more pointy end, I suppose. So just make sure that you don't put them upside down. Right, well, we've planted the garlic, so just remains to water it in. Probably not such a an important thing to do at this time of the year when water is not really in short supply, but it does sort of settle things down. And in case we have a dry spell, it's good at least for the garlic to get off to a good start.